Have you noticed your energy isn't what it used to be? That your desire, your firmness, and your vitality have started to fade quietly? It's not your age, it's your circulation. And the good news is, you can restore it naturally. In this video, you'll discover the only 9 fruits that both science and ancient traditions recognize for improving your intimate circulation after 50. These aren't magic recipes or empty promises, they're real tools to help you reconnect with your body, your desire, and your inner strength. If you've made it this far, it's not by chance. Stay with me, because this might just change the way you understand your health and your manhood. My name is Thea, and if this is your first time here, welcome to the channel. Stay until the end, because this message could mark a before and after in your vitality as a man. Number 1. Pomegranate, the fruit that revitalizes your arteries and awakens your potency. Listen carefully, because this is not a metaphor. If your penis no longer responds as it once did, it's not due to a lack of desire, it's because your arteries are collapsing. It's that simple. And the worst part is that no one tells you this. They make you believe that lack of erection is a punishment of age, an inevitable sentence, as if virility had an expiration date. But what's been lost is not the capacity, it's the flow. And when the flow returns, everything else does too. This is where the pomegranate comes in, a fruit that has been a symbol of strength, longevity, and fertility since the earliest civilizations. In Greece, they called it the fruit of the gods. In Persia, it was a symbol of virility, and it's no coincidence. Modern science has discovered that what makes this fruit special isn't its taste, but its ability to increase the production of nitric oxide in the body. That's the real secret, because nitric oxide is the substance that relaxes the walls of your arteries, allowing blood to flow strongly to where it's most needed. Imagine that your veins are like tunnels filled with debris, blocked by years of poor diet, sedentary lifestyle, and stress. The pomegranate is not a magical cure, but it's one of the few fruits that has the real capacity to clean those tunnels from the inside. Its antioxidants, especially punicalagins, act as restorative agents that reduce inflammation in the vessels and improve arterial elasticity. We're not talking about an unsupported theory. Research led by Dr. Harim Padmanathan, one of the experts behind some of the most recognized erectile dysfunction treatments in the world, has shown that daily pomegranate juice consumption improves erection quality and lowers blood pressure. What does this mean for you? It means you can recover what you thought was lost, not through magic, but because your body responds when you nourish it with the right things. I'm going to tell you something you won't hear in the office of a traditional doctor. Many men who currently depend on pills could regain their potency just by making sustained changes to their diet, but of course, that doesn't sell. That's why they'd rather give you a temporary solution that ties you to a prescription instead of talking to you about a fruit that could be on your table tomorrow. And this is where your responsibility comes in. No one is going to come and rescue you. Either you take control now, or you keep falling into that abyss of frustration where the body no longer responds and the mind gives up. A few years ago, a 63-year-old man wrote to me saying that he hadn't felt a natural erection in 3 decades. He tried everything. Nothing worked until one day he decided to replace his breakfast with fresh pomegranate juice every morning. It wasn't instantaneous, but within weeks he began to notice more firmness, more energy, and more self-confidence. He told me, "Thea, I felt like I was me again. That's what I want for you. Not a momentary illusion, but real recovery." The pomegranate is not just a fruit. It's a tool. It's a decision. It's the first step toward a transformation that only depends on you. But don't get confused. This isn't just about circulation. It's about dignity, about not resigning, about looking at your reflection with strength again. And if you think this is already revealing, wait until you discover the next fruit. Because there is one on this list that not only improves your flow, but can awaken a desire you thought was buried years ago. I'll tell you about it in the next chapter. Number 2, watermelon, the natural aphrodisiac that relaxes your vessels and ignites your desire. There are bodies that look young but are broken inside, and there are others marked by time that still know how to respond when the moment comes. The difference isn't always in the years, but in the circulation, because without flow, there's no potency. Without potency, there's no desire, and without desire, the man fades away. Watermelon, that fruit many see only as a summer dessert, is actually one of the most powerful keys to regaining virility from the inside. The curious thing is that this isn't a new discovery. In the 17th century, in a small rural community in southern Italy, cases were documented of men who, even past the age of 70, maintained active, vigorous, and constant intimate relationships. Doctors of the time, intrigued by this unusual vitality, began to investigate their diet, and what they found was revealing. During the warmer months, these men consumed watermelon every day, not as dessert, but as part of their ritual, as fuel. Today, science explains what those men intuitively knew through experience. Watermelon contains L-citrulline, an amino acid that converts to arginine in the body and stimulates nitric oxide production. That compound, the same one we mentioned in the previous lesson, plays a central role in erections, because without nitric oxide, the arteries don't expand. And if they don't expand, the blood doesn't flow, and if the blood doesn't flow, everything else becomes frustration. The interesting thing is that watermelon not only facilitates this process, but it does so naturally, without creating dependency or side effects. But there's more, something that can't be measured with microscopes. It's the emotional effect of feeling capable again, of noticing that the body responds, of seeing desire return, because when the body activates, the mind also ignites. And here, something happens that the Stoics knew well, the connection between the body and willpower. They said that the man who governs his body governs his destiny. So, watermelon isn't just food, it's a sign that not everything is lost, that you can still regain control. Picture that Italian man, already a grandfather, looking at his wife with desire, with strength, with complicity, not out of nostalgia, but because his body still allows him to live fully. That man didn't depend on drugs or excuses. He depended on what he chose to eat, on how he chose to take care of himself. His potency was the reflection of a conscious life. Now look at yourself. If you're here, it's because something inside you refuses to accept decline. Because you know there's still strength in your hands, desire in your blood, and answers in what you choose every day. And if a fruit like watermelon can give you that spark, what other tools are you letting pass by unknowingly? The next fruit on this list has a hidden power that few know about. It not only improves circulation, but it can completely change your personal magnetism, and that's worth hearing. Number 3. Purple grapes, the invisible guardians of male blood flow. I want to challenge you. It doesn't take more than 5 minutes a day, but it could reveal more about your body than any medical checkup. For the next 7 days upon waking, eat a small bunch of purple grapes on an empty stomach. Don't mix them with anything, just grapes. Then, during the same day, observe carefully how your body reacts. Pay attention to your energy, your mood, even your thoughts. Because what goes into your mouth not only nourishes your arteries, it also shapes your attitude. This micro-experiment has a very clear foundation. Purple grapes are rich in an antioxidant called resveratrol, one of the most powerful compounds for keeping arteries clean and elastic. And I'm not just talking about the large arteries of the heart, I'm also talking about the microarteries that reach the intimate areas, those that over time become hardened, clogged, and stop responding. Resveratrol acts as a silent guardian, cleaning, flexing, and allowing the flow to move again. But that's not all. Studies from Harvard University have shown that this antioxidant has positive effects on longevity, inflammation, and even hormonal balance. In other words, you're eating youth, circulation, and potency. The interesting thing is that this small exercise, in addition to its physical benefits, has a deeply Stoic root. Epictetus said that we can't control the outside world, but we can master what we choose every day. And this is where you come in. Every grape you eat consciously is an act of recovery. You're not only nourishing your body, You're reclaiming your ability to decide, to act, to change what seemed inevitable. And if you've made it this far, it's because something inside you is already awakening. So, I want to take this moment to invite you to join this community. If this content is making you think, if something I've said resonates with you, hit the like button and subscribe. Every week we share content like this, designed for men like you, brave, conscious, and determined to live with dignity. Tell me in the comments where you're connecting from. I love to know how far this chain of wisdom we're building together reaches, because in the end, this isn't just about grapes, it's about discipline, choice, and inner strength. And when you cultivate that daily, even with small gestures, the body notices, reflects, and appreciates it. That's how true change begins, with something small, firm, and constant, like the first step of a man who decided to respect himself again. Number 4. Berries, the natural shield against dysfunction. In 2010, a joint study between Harvard and East Anglia universities discovered something that many older men don't want to hear, but everyone should know. Regular consumption of berries, blueberries, blackberries, and strawberries reduces the risk of erectile dysfunction by up to 14%. Surprising, yes, but even more bewildering is what this data reveals, that many men have lost their potency not because of age, but due to the abandonment of simple and effective habits. What kills desire the most isn't the passage of time, it's neglect. These small, seemingly insignificant fruits are packed with flavonoids, natural compounds that directly affect the elasticity of your arteries. In other words, while you keep looking for magical solutions in pills or supplements, nature has been offering you the answer for centuries in the form of dark pigments and intense flavors. And this forces us to think, how many times do we overlook the essential because we're distracted by the superficial? I want you to pause now. Look at your hands. Think about how many times a day you decide what goes into your body without true awareness. How many times do you choose the easiest, quickest, or most comfortable option? Now, imagine that each of those decisions is a drop of water falling on a rock. You won't notice it in one day or one week, but over time, that drop will wear it down. That's what happens to your arteries, your desire, your potency. They don't turn off suddenly, they erode with every unconscious choice. I propose a simple exercise. For 1 week, replace the processed sugar in your breakfast with a cup of berries. Don't expect instant miracles. Expect signs. Observe your mental clarity, your energy levels, even your desire for intimacy. These fruits don't just activate your flow, they awaken your presence. They're a signal to your body that you've stopped acting like a resigned man and have taken control once again. The Stoics said that the body should be treated like a temple, but not one decorated for display. A strong, silent one, resistant to time. Berries are part of that invisible care, a natural shield against oxidation, wear, and decay. And when you start living with that level of respect for yourself, something changes, not outside, but inside, where true power begins. Number 5, avocado, the fruit that nourishes your virility from within. Many men cross 50 as if they're walking through the door of an invisible prison. Suddenly, what was once automatic becomes uncertain. The body starts to fail, strength diminishes, and the cruelest thing of all, the mind begins to convince itself that it's no longer possible. But listen closely. That's a lie. What's failed isn't your age, it's your fuel. You've been living like a luxury car that's been filled with cheap gas. It doesn't matter how solid your engine was, if you fuel it poorly, it will eventually give up. The avocado, ignored by many and vilified for decades as fatty or heavy, is actually one of the most valuable foods a man can incorporate into his life if he wants to regain his potency from the inside. This fruit, rich in monounsaturated fatty acids, vitamin E, potassium, and zinc, acts as a silent restorer of the hormonal and vascular system. And here's the key. The avocado doesn't just improve cardiovascular health, which is essential for achieving and maintaining a firm erection. It goes beyond that, activating natural testosterone production, regulating bad cholesterol, nourishing cell membranes, and protecting against chronic inflammation that sabotages your energy without you noticing. But there's something even more powerful. The avocado has a direct effect on the perception of hunger, desire, and well-being. Its healthy fats nourish the brain and regulate cortisol levels, the stress hormone that many older men have running unchecked without knowing it. That constant state of tension, that inexplicable fatigue, often doesn't come from an emotional problem. It comes from a malnourished body, a system in silent crisis. You make poor decisions, have less desire, lose firmness, and don't even know why. The avocado helps you stabilize that ground. Mountain, in one of his most lucid essays, wrote, "My body is my garden, my will is its gardener." And that phrase contains an uncomfortable truth. Many men have let their garden become overgrown with weeds. They've abandoned care, knowledge, and respect for what they eat. Because taking care of yourself is not vanity. It's an act of responsibility, especially in maturity, when you can no longer improvise without paying the consequences. The Stoic vision reminds us that self-discipline begins with the body. If you can't dominate what's on your plate, how do you expect to dominate what happens in your bed, in your mind, in your life? The avocado isn't just food, it's a declaration. It's choosing what nourishes over what distracts. It's opting for real, sustained, deep potency, not for the patches that only hide the problem for a while. Imagine for a moment that you feel the firmness of before again, not from an external stimulus, but because your body has responded again, because your hormonal system has balanced itself once more, because your blood flows without obstruction. That possibility exists, it's there, but it starts with what you choose to put on your table. And when you make that change, when you start nourishing yourself like a man who respects himself, something ignites in you. It's not just physical potency, it's clarity, it's strength, it's direction. Because the man who nourishes himself consciously also lives consciously. And that's the kind of man who starts to inspire respect, even from himself. Number 6, banana, the food of strong and functional men. Some battles are lost by exhaustion, not by lack of courage. And that's exactly what happens to many men after 50. They don't fall suddenly, they fade little by little, like a lamp that no longer receives enough current. They stop waking up with energy, stop feeling desire, stop responding, and begin to assume that this is just how life is in old age. But it's not true, you're not broken, you're drained. And if there's one food designed by nature to restore you from within, it's the banana. This everyday fruit, often underestimated, is a natural balm of potassium, vitamin B6, tryptophan, and magnesium. What few know is that these compounds work together to regulate your nervous system, stabilize your blood pressure, and keep your energy levels in an optimal range. And that matters much more than you think, because an erection doesn't begin in the groin, it begins in the cardiovascular system. If your pressure is unstable, if your internal electrical system is out of control, the flow won't reach. The most impressive thing is how the banana acts on the balance between strength and stability. Its potassium content helps blood vessels relax, reducing unnecessary tension and allowing blood to circulate without obstacles. And it's not a minor effect. It's the difference between a body that responds to stimulus and one that falls short. Also, its tryptophan content boosts serotonin production, a substance that improves your mood, reduces stress, and indirectly increases your sexual desire because the chemistry of desire also involves calm. No one desires with fear, no one responds with anxiety. Desire needs fertile ground, and the banana helps prepare it. And here's where the reflection becomes deeper. How much have you neglected that balance? How many times have you felt like your body no longer obeys? But you haven't stopped to think whether you're nourishing that energy in the right way. Because it's not just about what you stop eating, it's about what you're not giving your body. It's like trying to light a fire without wood. You can have the desire, you can have the intention, but without the right fuel, everything dies out. Eastern tradition holds that the body is a temple and that everything you put into it leaves a mark. And it's true. Every banana you choose over an industrial candy, every morning you start with real food instead of caffeine and sugar is an act of reconnection with yourself. It's not a diet. It's a silent declaration that you still care about yourself, that you still believe there is strength in you. And let me tell you something. That belief is worth more than any treatment. Because when you believe in your ability to recover, the body begins to respond. So don't underestimate the simple things. Sometimes what you need isn't more complexity, but more consistency. And the banana, with all its nutritional value, is a reminder of that. That you can still strengthen your body, regain your firmness, and live fully again. If you make the decision to act, because it's not about adding years to your life, it's about adding life to your years. And that starts with what you choose to put on your plate each day. Number 7, citrus fruits, the vitamin that cleans your veins and reignites your encounters. There's something few people want to accept after 50. The body doesn't forget. It doesn't forget what you eat, what you repress, what you postpone, but it also doesn't forget your effort, your discipline, or the respect you show it. Every cell has memory, and circulation is the language your body uses to tell you whether you are truly living or just surviving. Citrus fruits, orange, lemon, grapefruit, have been present in the wisest cultures as symbols of cleansing, clarity, and renewal. But their value goes far beyond flavor or freshness. What makes them unique is their high concentration of vitamin C, an antioxidant that protects the endothelium, the inner layer of your arteries that determines whether blood flow is free or blocked. When the endothelium is damaged, flow stops. And when that happens, it's not just your health that suffers. Your potency, desire, and presence fade too. Without circulation, there is no erection, but there's also no mental clarity or emotional strength. Everything slows down. Taoist philosophy speaks of flowing like water, gentle yet unstoppable, clean yet strong. And that's the lesson citrus fruits bring into your life. It's not about brute strength. It's about inner cleansing, about allowing what's stagnant to move again, about unlocking yourself from the deepest levels. Because stagnation isn't only in the veins, it's in your mind, in your habits, in the emotions you've been carrying around for years. Incorporating citrus fruits is not just a nutritional strategy. It's a symbolic declaration. I'm willing to cleanse, to let go, to renew myself. From a Buddhist perspective, the body is the vehicle of the soul, and keeping it clean is part of the path to enlightenment. But you don't have to go that far to understand that when your body is congested, your life is too. How long has it been since you felt lightness? How long since you experienced desire untouched by guilt, exhaustion, or discouragement? Citrus fruits, with their ability to reduce inflammation, improve nutrient absorption, and stimulate the immune system, are a practical tool for starting a detox, not just internally, but energetically as well. Don't underestimate the power of the everyday. A glass of lemon water on an empty stomach, an orange in the afternoon, a natural juice at the end of your day. Simple rituals, yet symbolically powerful. They tell your body that you're willing to take back control, that you're not giving in to decay, that there's still time to cleanse, to renew, to awaken. Because in the end, all deep transformation begins with a small decision, repeated with consistency. Just as a drop of citric acid can dissolve the hardest rust, you too can dissolve the wear and tear time has built up in your body, but only if you choose to, only if you take responsibility, because it's not your age that shuts you down, it's the lack of action, and that's entirely up to you. Number 8, red apple, the forgotten fruit that strengthens your vascular system. Sometimes the most powerful things are right in front of you, but because they don't shine, you ignore them. That's the case with the red apple. It doesn't have a marketing campaign behind it. It's not trendy. It doesn't promise miracles. But it contains a quiet power that can transform your intimate circulation if you know how to use it. And today, I'm going to propose a mini challenge that will test your consistency and your commitment to yourself. Eat one whole red apple every day for the next 20 days. No excuses, no breaks. Just you, the fruit, and your body responding. This challenge isn't just about nutrition, it's an exercise in self-mastery. The red apple is rich in quercetin, a flavonoid that reduces inflammation and protects the walls of your blood vessels. When this compound enters your body, it begins repairing micro damage, improving artery elasticity, and helping blood flow freely to every corner, including the ones you need most as a man. It's a kind of silent restorer that works without you noticing, but whose results you'll feel in your energy, your mental clarity, and of course, your intimate potency. But this challenge goes beyond the physical. The Stoics spoke of ascesis, training the body as part of strengthening the soul. Eating an apple every day may not seem like a great act, but if you do it with intention, it becomes a constant reminder of your discipline, of your decision not to give in to comfort or apathy. Each day you choose to do it, you remind yourself that you are the owner of your body, that you can still build new habits, that you can still create a stronger version of yourself. In traditional Chinese medicine, it is said that the apple nourishes the heart and cleanses the digestive system, but it also balances vital energy, what the East calls qi, and you know it. When your digestion is healthy, when your blood flows without obstacles, when your energy is stable, your desire returns, your firmness comes back, your body responds. It's not witchcraft, it's biology and respect. Do the challenge. Not for me, not because it's trendy, but because you owe it to yourself. Finish this video. Go get an apple and start today. Don't look at the clock. Don't expect immediate results. Just do it. Do it because you can. Do it because every day you choose to care for yourself is a way of telling the world, and yourself, that you're still here, that you still have strength, that you're still a man who honors his body. And as you move forward with that simple gesture, in silence, I assure you that what you'll discover in the next chapter could forever change the way you understand your energy as a man. Number 9. Papaya, the natural anti-inflammatory that restores your sensitivity. In his final years, Michelangelo Buonarroti, the Renaissance genius, was still sculpting with steady hands and a determined gaze. He was over 70 years old, suffering from chronic pain and fatigue that would have made any other man give up. But he rose with the dawn, relentless, determined to finish what he had started. When asked why he didn't rest, he replied with a brutal yet simple phrase, "I am still learning." That's the kind of mindset that separates men who age with dignity from those who simply crawl toward death. Michelangelo understood something many forget. As long as the body can move, the spirit can grow. But that growth doesn't happen amidst constant pain or chronic inflammation. Either you heal your body, or your mind begins to fade along with it. Papaya, at first glance a sweet tropical fruit, hides one of the most powerful compounds for reducing inflammation, papain. This enzyme, along with vitamin C and other antioxidants, acts like an internal broom that sweeps away the inflammatory residues built up in your digestive system, your joints, and, what matters most here, the tiny arteries that bring blood to your intimate areas. Because when there's inflammation, there's blockage. And when there's blockage, pleasure becomes numb. It's not just about losing firmness, it's about losing sensation. And for a man, that's like ceasing to live. Stoic philosophy teaches that we cannot control pain, but we can control how we face it. However, it also warns us that some pain comes from neglect, not fate. If you spend years eating poorly, ignoring signs, avoiding decisions, you're not being stoic, you're being negligent. Papaya is one of those tools that helps you heal from the inside, reducing the silent inflammation that affects your desire, your sleep, your mood, even your memory. And that's not an exaggeration. Studies from the Linus Pauling Institute have shown that sustained systemic inflammation is linked to erectile dysfunction, depression, and cognitive decline. And you know what's worst? Most men don't realize it until they're already trapped. From a spiritual perspective, especially in Hinduism, it's believed that the body must be kept pure so the soul can express itself without obstruction. It's not about perfection, it's about respect. Eating papaya on an empty stomach regularly can be a sacred act if done consciously. Its natural laxative effect cleanses the intestines, reduces body acidity, and allows nutrients to reach where they're needed. But more than that, it restores your sensitivity. not just physically. You begin to reconnect with what you feel, what you desire, what you've been ignoring for years. Imagine feeling again, fully, freely, fearlessly. Not surviving on artificial stimulation, but becoming a man who doesn't just function. He vibrates, desires, and truly lives. That version of you still exists. It's not lost. It's just waiting on your daily choices. Because if a man like Michelangelo, shaped by time and pain, could keep standing tall and creating into his final years, then you too can carve a new kind of vitality. And that first stroke might just be a slice of papaya. If this message already made you question how you've been treating your body, just wait. What's coming next will name the thing you've been silently searching for all along. And if you're still watching, you're not a passive viewer. You're one of the few, a man with the courage to face uncomfortable truths, not turn away from them. You didn't come here for distraction. You came for answers. And what you found weren't fairy tales. You found weapons, honest, unpolished, real. Because here's the brutal truth. No one is coming to rescue you. Your energy, your desire, your strength, they won't return unless you call them back. And each fruit we've explored today, it's more than nutrition. It's a metaphor, a key, a reminder that you're not here to reclaim who you used to be, but to forge a sharper, clearer, fuller version of the man you still are. You made it to the end. That means one thing. It's time to act. Not later, not someday, today. Because time waits for no man, and neither does your body. Drop this in the comments. I nourish myself with wisdom. Just that. Because today, that's exactly what you've done. You woke up to a new understanding of your health, your desire, your dignity. And tell me, what country are you watching from? I want to know how far this fire is spreading. How many men still believe in their strength? This isn't a channel for entertainment. It's a place to shatter mental chains, to bring you reflection, action, and direction. We exist because too many men have been ignored, silenced, or misled for simply not knowing how to stand their ground. We don't point fingers, we build tools. While others give up, we rise. While others surrender, we take back control. If this hit you somewhere deep, subscribe. Not for me, for you. Because you want to belong to a brotherhood of men who are choosing to live fully, with honor, and with fire that won't be dimmed by age. Share this with someone who needs it. You never know, one conversation could change another man's life. One message might pull someone back from the edge. And don't click away just yet. Watch one of the videos that's about to appear. Because this isn't the end, it's the beginning. A life with more power, more peace, and a deeper respect for the man in the mirror.